guys, welcome. This is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, and I'm right about to embark on learning a new game. And every time I do so, I kind of think it through, and I kind of reach back into the past games I learned and the mistakes I made. And I just wanted to share some of the things that I try to do and I try to focus on as I learn a new game. Why learn new games? Well, first of all, to me, and all I can speak to is about me, it's very stimulating. It's exciting, the whole exploration of the new mechanics, of the new interactions on the tabletop are just they just wake me up and get me going. So that's one. I like the go-to games that I know already, that I've been playing for 40 years or 50 years. But I also like to sometimes challenge myself to see what else is out there and to experiment and to experience a little bit of something and to really challenge my brain. And I really feel the challenge. Number one, pick two teams you know. Pick two teams you're comfortable with. Pick two teams you're familiar with. The haze, the confusion. You want to be comfortable with the rosters of the teams, the qualities of the players. This is going to minimize peripheral distractions. So you want to, keep those out as much as possible. So this is one thing you should definitely do. Pick two teams that you've played in the past, that you know the players, you know the rosters, you know how to organize them, you know the strengths and the weaknesses. Number two, I think that older teams are more conducive to learning the mechanics versus the new modern baseball with all the metrics. Um, I think that you should pick two teams where the lineups are fairly consistent. They don't change that much. Their pitchers, for example, go deep into games where you don't have to worry about bringing, a relief pitcher starting in the fifth inning and another one in the sixth and another one in the seventh. You want to really minimize those distractions as much as possible, because remember, what is our focus? It's learning the mechanics of the new game. So let's pick 9 guys on each side, and hopefully the starters can get through the game, and maybe one pinch hitter, maybe one substitution, but always keeping that to a minimum, so it doesn't interfere with our real main focus, and that is to learn the game. Focus on the basics of the game, right? 90% of baseball, for example, is the interaction between the pitcher and the batter. Well, let's focus on learning that, and you'll have 90% of the game, under your belt once you play through it and you become comfortable. So you don't want to start out by having a lot of complicated base running situations. You don't want to have too many sacrifices if it's more than a roll. Some games have it very simple, but some games it can be super complicated, and you have to look at 6 or 7 different factors. You want to minimize hit and runs. You want to minimize robbing home runs, right? You want to minimize all these things, or just cut them out totally from the game. Because again, what we're focusing on here is the foundation of the game, the basics of the game, 9 or 95 or 90% of the game, which is the pitcher batter interaction, which is the hits and the outs. Let's get the hits and the outs down, and now we're going to branch off and get deeper and get into the more advanced features of your game. So number 4, scan the rules. Okay, this is much different than memorizing the rules or trying to understand every aspect of the rules. No, just look at the pitcher batter interaction page and understand that. That's 90% of the game. You have 90% of the battle won. Everything else you can really, improvise. And I'm talking about the first game, the second game, the third game. Improvise errors. If it says error, give the shortstop an error. If it says, base running, 2 outs, the batter takes an extra base, you can make these basically home brews before you start the game, saying, okay, with 2 outs, everybody advances 2 bases. Fast guys always advance 2 bases, and everybody else advances 1 base. End of story. If the game has a more complicated base running system. If it has a very simple base running system, and some do, it says S1, a single and runners advance 1 base, or an S2, single and runners advance 2 bases. Then you can do that, right? But you want to avoid complicating your life with all the peripheral things that are happening. So remember, scan the game. Don't try to take everything in and figure everything out before you start playing. Because I think what that does is it overwhelms us, and we become, it becomes a daunting process where all of a sudden, we don't have the time to do all that. We already know 3 games, and we play those 3 games. We have fun with those 3 games. And, you have projects going, so you don't want to learn this game because you're trying to take this whole rule book, and some rule books can be fairly overwhelming. Others, not so much. But don't try to learn everything in the first read. Just scan through it, understand the pitcher-batter interaction, and move from there. Let's look at 5. 5 now. Time you play, you'll learn a little bits of something new, and you'll become more and more familiar to where it's going to become second nature. Okay, so be patient with yourself. Don't try to read the rules and memorize the rules and know every aspect of it. If you don't know how to figure out stolen bases and the jump, don't do it. Don't even steal a base. Leave it out. The first time, the first game, just get the pitcher-batter interaction down. If it says, if it has an asterisk, it says single asterisk, and then it's like Lou Brock. Well, guess what? Just give him the stolen base. He's going to steal it anyway, right? And just to get the feel of the game, that's what we're focusing on. Let's talk about number 6. Become comfortable with the interaction between the lefty batter, the righty batter, the lefty pitcher, the righty pitcher, the pitcher batter result. So just play for the feel of the cards, play for the feel of the charts if you use, 1 basic chart or 2 basic charts. But the first games, become familiar with where things are, what things mean, right? It's just a learning. You're not going to have a great game. The first game, the second game, the third game is going to be great in the sense that you're learning a new game, and you're going to have great games in the future, right? But it's not going to be a perfect game. So don't worry about perfection. Just skip that part of it. Just play to have fun. That's number 6. Let's look at number 7. Now, don't sweat the small stuff, right? Don't try to compare the game that you play with the new game that you're learning. Don't worry about the small details that you're used to. Hey, this game doesn't do that. I get a chance to throw the runner out at third base from right field, and in this game is not doing that when I feel it should do it, or it's not doing it enough. Don't compare your game while you're learning the game. An experience within itself, devoid of the context of the other games that you've played in the past. Don't compare games, because this is going to affect your attitude, and it's going to take really the fun out of the game, right? Focus on the enjoyment and the experience and the learning, rather than, I can't rob a home run here, or it's not giving me a chance to throw the runner out, or I don't get to roll for fielder's choice and see if the speed of the runner influences the fielder's choice. Don't worry about all that. Just play the game, try to learn the game, learn the pitcher batter interaction, and then move on from there. Finally, and this is finally number 8, the big number 8, relax and have fun. You know, what I find about our hobby is that it really is a stress reducer, and that's what we should do. And so make this learning experience a fun experience. Like I said, be patient with yourself. You don't have to get everything right. Don't sweat the small stuff. Um, and I think after you play 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, you're gonna learn. You know, you're gonna start becoming a master. You know, and you're gonna start becoming, and eventually, you know, I'm starting to believe that no game is beyond tweaks. No game is can be, you know, run right out of the box without. Once you really learn it, you start identifying. Because I really don't know how many games the designers play, but I don't know if they play, like, if you take a game and you play 1,000 games, did the designer play 1,000 games with his creation? You know, he may have played 100 or 200 games, but once you get to the 1,000 game mark, you can start, you know, identifying areas of strength and areas of weakness, things that just don't feel right. So if you've been watching baseball every single day, you know, for 6 months, 7 months out of the year, 8 months out of the year, you know, including the playoffs and the World Series, and you get a feel for what's expected in a baseball game, and all of a sudden you're playing 1,000 games in your tabletop game, and you see there's never been a line drive to first base, you know, or a player's never gone from, you know, never stretched a double into a triple, you know, this sort of thing. Then all of a sudden you say, maybe I need to add that to my game. So ultimately, I think, though, that's my closing on this presentation, 8 hacks to learning a new game. I think that once we become experts, we almost become more expert than the designers themselves. And I think every game that I've seen so far, lots of guys have home brews that they've created to make it feel right for them, based on, you know, their understanding of the game. Some of us have a deeper understanding of the game. Some of us have less. So that all doesn't matter. Ultimately, is that we enjoy the game, and we kind of enjoy our hobby and support each other. So remember, like and subscribe my channel, guys. I really appreciate that, and I hope that you know, I serve the game community, and you guys get something out of my enthusiasm for the hobby. This is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Remember to join Universal Baseball Association Facebook group, join all its affiliated groups, Sports Illustrated and Deep Drive and Payoff Pitch, and on and on. It has a lot of other groups, Fall Classic, and so on and so forth. And I will see you guys very, very, very soon.